Hey guys, Aaron here. Welcome to today's Body Club session where we'll be doing another Pilates class for recreational runners. Here in part 3, we'll be looking at some key exercises that will assist in your running performance. We'll activate key muscles that assist in alignment and postural control of your body. We'll practice exercises that functionally stabilize the joints through a full range of movement, including exercises that relate to running specifically. And we'll train the strength and endurance capacity of our muscles to increase force production and build resilience that ultimately will put a spring in your step. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So first exercise is going to be lateral steps with bands. So here I've got a couple of different bands. These are great hip bands, and we can pull them over the thighs. Okay, you can also get rubber versions of these ones as well. So we're going to bend the knees, just sit into it, head, chest up, and we're going to go into lateral steps. So we're going to take a step from one side to the other. Just focusing on just keeping your torso relatively upright. Weight pretty much through the mid-foot. And just sitting those hips back. Starting to feel this through the glutes. You want to make sure when you're doing this that you're maintaining a nice neutral posture through the spine. So you don't want to stick your bottom out so much that you arch your back. You also don't want to be tucked under through the hips too. So into this nice neutral position here and then into those lateral steps. We need about 30 of these. So just 2 more and release. Excellent work. Then we're going to go into a lateral step with a hold. So this one is similar, step to the side, take the knee off and balance, step to the side and balance. So here we're really focusing on the muscles that stabilize the hips, which is great for training that alignment through the lower body. And you can really feel those glute meads, which help to stabilize the femur, which has a knock-on effect down that chain. Good, keep it going. You're challenging that balance as well. 2 to go. And release, excellent, good stuff. And then finally, we go into a glutes bridge. So you lie on your back, feet shoulder width apart, knees push out, also shoulder width apart. So we're focusing from here, once we've pushed out, on getting the hips to lift. So I'm going to bring my hands across my chest, tuck my hips under a bit and push my hips up nice and high, getting a good squeeze through the glutes. It's really important when I lift up through the hips that I don't arch the back. It's almost like the back of my ribs are heavy, and then I'm pushing up through the hips. Really important to make sure you're getting that extension through the hips there. So let's go ahead, push through. Nice, good hip extension. Pushing your knees out against the band all the time. Only a few minutes into the session and my glutes are already on fire. Two. And 1. Really good. And then we're actually going to go through that sequence again. I'm just going to give you 30 seconds just to rest. And then we go through again. Okay, so into those lateral steps, side to side, 30 reps. Bend the knees, and let's go. Push. Make sure not to step all the way in. Don't lose the tension on the band. Keep the tension in the band. driving the thighs, the knees out. Should have good alignment with the knee over the top of the midfoot. Let's keep it going. 5, 4. Good, and release. Let's take a little bit of a breather. Really important muscles that contribute to that lower limb alignment, the glutes. It's a really important factor. All right, next one, lateral step and hold. So we go across, we lift the knee a little bit, in and balance, step and balance, and keep that going. Harder, bigger step, or quicker, but then hold for a little bit longer. Let's keep that going. Good. 8, 7, pushing against that band. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then finally up into that bridge. Feet shoulder width, knees pushing out against the band. Further away from you, further down to the knees you go, the harder that will be. So just more resistance pushing against that band. And then from here, hands across the chest and push. Try and peel your spine up off the floor. Exhaling on the way up. 3 to go. Good, and release. All right, first circuit done. Moving through now, so they're the kind of activation drills. They help to just fire up muscles that stabilize the hips and stabilize the knees and the ankles, as well as your trunk, your spine, pelvis, all really nice and well held together, nice and stable. Now we can move on through some slightly more functional movements. So we start to increase the range of motion and challenge the stability and the length of the joints, putting them under a little bit of load as well. So we're going to start off with a single leg deadlift. So we'll do it unloaded to start with. So you're just placing your feet directly underneath your hips, balancing on one leg. What's really important here is to make sure you're hinging through the hips and hinging through the knees and the ankles and not through your lower back. So I'm going to balance on the left leg and I'm going to sit back into the hip and bend my knee. And I'm going to reach towards the floor. You don't even have to go all the way to the floor just yet. So what I'm trying to avoid is this. Okay, so I'm not doing this from the lower back. I'm actually going to do this from the hip. So my chest stays tall. And then I reach, okay? I'm just going to reach the right hand just in front of the left foot. 5, 6. Just trying to balance, as you can feel here, some stability, the foot and the ankle. It's really good for training that alignment. Creates nice muscle balance around the joints. Last one, hips sit right back and reach. Good, coming through to the other side, right leg. Little tip for balancing, pick up the toes, spread out the toes, really nice wide base of support. Sit back through the hip and hinge. Good to do this in front of a mirror. You get a mirror at your side, just make sure you've got that nice neutral spine, and even if you come down to the shin, and then you can add a little bit of rotation, a tiny bit of flexion through the upper back to reach to the floor if you need. We just need to make sure we're not doing this. All right, we really want to be getting that hip sitting back, the knee flexing, the ankle joint flexing. When you come to the top, consciously getting the tailbone to lengthen under a little bit. So my glutes are also helping to stabilize me at the top here. This way, I'll make sure I'm not overworking that lower back. Good. And release. Well done. Next one comes a reverse lunge and into a knee pull. So again, this time we're getting the knee up, a deeper drive through the knee. So I'm going to lunge my right leg back onto the ball of my foot. Make sure the feet are around about hip width. Imagine your feet are on train tracks at hip width. You're going to sink that knee to the floor. Notice here most of my weight actually, or a majority of my weight over the front leg. A little bit still in the back leg, but I need to put weight through this front leg to be able to drive through it, to come up to the top and balance, pulling my knee into my chest. Okay. From here, really important, guys, not to let the knee bend. If the knee bends, then the whole body goes out of alignment. Okay. So we need to push the knee back. We need to squeeze through the glutes on the standing leg. We need to pull the shoulder blades back. Watch what happens to the posture as I pull my shoulder blades back. The whole spine lengthens up, and then I'm going to cock this foot, so I'm going to flex this front foot towards my shin here. Quite technical, I know. All right, and then we're going back, down, knee to floor, up, pull. All right, really focus on that alignment. This set, we'll just look at that control, neuromuscular control. And then the next set, maybe we'll add in a little bit of pace. Get that balance. And pull, really good. And then around, across to the other side. From here, lunging back and down. A little bit more weight through that front leg. Push down through the foot. Imagine the crown of the head's being pulled up. Nice and tall, and hold. Again, we don't want to be in this position where we're leaning back. So the knee pushes backwards. The hips tuck under. Glutes nice and active, and give them a poke. Yeah, make sure they're nice and fired up. Knee pulls to the chest, shoulder blades pull back, foot cocked. Once you've got that position, into that lunge. And up. And back. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8, 2 to go. Big lift through the chest. 9, think about that posture. And 10. And up, great work, good. And then, last one, front lunge this time rather than back lunge. We're adding in a rotation. So I'm going to take a long lunge forwards. As I step forwards, I'm going to take a little bit more width. So I'm going to go from hip width out to shoulder width, step forward and rotate. So my right leg forwards, step, lunge, rotate to the right, back to the top. Same side for 10. 2, and back. 3, and back. 4, good. 5, try and keep your alignment of your lower limbs tracking forwards, and then try to rotate from your torso up. Very important that as we lunge, we try not to like twist the hips or the knees, the hips. We're trying to keep this nice and stable and then create that rotation to come through your torso. Okay, 9 and 10. Yeah, so we've really primed the glutes with those previous exercises. So when we're doing our front lunges, not only work our quads, but they'll also kick in to really assist and stabilize the legs, the knee joint. Come to the other side. Lunge and twist. Might feel more stable on one side. Quite normal to be a little bit asymmetrical. That's why doing these exercises is so good. It helps to iron it out, helps us to balance out. One more. Great stuff, guys. And take a little bit of a breather. Good. We're going through again. I'm going to add in a little bit of resistance here. So this is optional. If you do have some dumbbells knocking around, you can always add in a little bit of weight. I'm going to go back into those single leg deadlifts. First, important to get the technique. Once you've got the control of the movement, then you can use your body weight. And then once you're comfortable working on your body weight, then bring in and start adding load to your exercises. And you can increase the intensity of the exercises by increasing the load. You can also increase the volume of the exercises by the number of reps or the number of sets. Okay? Right. Single leg deadlift, balancing on the left leg. And I'm now going to bring my right arm just down. I'm not going to go all the way to the floor because I want to keep my back into that neutral position to remember. So I'm offloading the dumbbell, right hand, balancing left leg, bend through the knee and the hips, sit down into it, and up. 1, 2. The nice thing about adding load is I can feel that little bit more tension being created. It's really good for helping to stabilize and protect those joints. Really trying to build nice, strong, resilient joints. Feel the thighs working, glutes working, bit of a stretch through the hamstrings. Keeping that neutral, and 10. Good work, guys. Coming across, other side. Balancing on the right leg this time. Upright. Sinking into the hip, the knee. Back stays pretty neutral. Tiny bit of reach across in front of the right leg or right foot. Let's keep it going. Really stable when you get to the top. Two to go. Squeezing through the thighs, the glutes at the top. Excellent work. Good. Well done, guys. Into your reverse lunge with that knee pull. Right leg's going back. Knee to the floor. Drive, balance, and pull. Down, pull. Down, pull. Don't forget to flex the foot. Pull the foot towards the shin. Ankle dorsiflexion. Very important. You can go a bit quicker now then. Up and balance for a bit longer. Control down, up. 3, 2, and 1. And quite hard to get any purchase on my shin. Getting a bit sweaty, pretty hot in here. Not a bad thing if you've got a sweat on though, so you know you're working. Other side, back, knee to the floor, control, pull. Remember, as you pull, use those muscles between the shoulder blades. Postural muscles, really important to keep us upright. Help stabilize the spine into extension, or I should say into neutral as well. And then we can add in that pace. Up, holding for that extra second. Up. The quicker you can stabilize, the better. I think there's one more. Really good. And then finally, that front lunge with a twist. Again, you can add in the dumbbell if you want to, and you can just hold the dumbbell and add a rotation. I said it now, so I better do it. All right, you can just hold it to your chest. Then from here, front lunge with a twist, twist through. Otherwise, just use your arms for balance. Good. Take 10 to 15 seconds. Last one on the other side. We're going through that left side. Nice deep lunge, twist. Try not to let your feet, your knees twist. Remember, lower limbs into a straight line. Your rotation is coming through your torso. 5 to go. Good, and release, and relax. Kind of turn this Pilates session into a resistance training session here, but it's so good for you for running. So as I say, start with the body weight stuff, and you can start to add the load to help that co-contraction, the muscles activating around the joints to stabilize the joint. Good stuff, guys. We've got one more little circuit to do. We're going to work into hamstrings. We're going to work into adductors, our inner thighs. And then we're working into our hip flexors as well. So today we'll have worked the sides, the back, the front, and then the insides as well. Really nice stability around the hip joint, muscles pulling from all angles to create that stability. Right, we're going into a hamstrings bridge. Now there's two options here. I'm going to do a harder option, but I'm going to give you an easier one just if you want it. So we've got a couple of yoga blocks. You don't have to use blocks, you can stack books up, you could even use a chair or stool. We're going to have a little bit of a bend in the knee joint, not too much, but a little bit of a bend in the knee joint here. I'm on my heels. Easier option, hands are by the hips. Hips lift, tuck under, active through the glutes. Hamstrings are the prime muscles working here, back of the mid thigh, but also need that little bit of tuck under to create that glute squeeze to help us. 10 of those. Harder option, Single leg, one knee bends towards the chest. This is such a great drill for running. From here, we're going to push down through the arms, and then we're going to bridge the hips up. 1, 2, 3. Can be brutal, this can make your hamstring feel like it's going to cramp. If it's too tough, obviously just do that double leg. One more. Good. Other side. Make sure your right foot is in line with your right hip. All right, as you push down through. If you've done double leg, second set. Otherwise, we're on to single leg. Other side, bridge, push. 2. Trying to get up to a straight line. I'm using my arms for assistance. Harder option still is to hands across your chest. One more. Push up, really good. Good. Really important to have strong hamstrings. Sometimes with runners we can tend to overwork and get over tight through the quads. So it helps that co-contraction around the joint, like I was talking about, that balance of muscle activation around the joint. It creates that bracing effect, stability. All right, we're going into abductors. My left leg on top. I'm going to go into a side, kind of like a side plank position. So if you've done a side plank before, elbow underneath the shoulder. I'm going to push up here. Make sure the hips push through, so your hips are coming forward. And then I'm just going to push down through the top leg and lift the bottom one. Lift. Squeeze it up. Squeeze it up. If that's too hard, all you're going to do is just push your top leg down and release. Push your top leg down and release. And it might be an indication you need to strengthen up those inner thighs. Two to go. Tough, yeah. Good, and then we've got just one more on the other side. It's supposed to be really tough, this drill, okay? So don't worry if you can't achieve that. It's fine for you to just push that top leg down without lifting the bottom knee. Another way to stabilize yourself is to take your top hand and push your top hand in the floor as well, okay? Lengthening out, lift, 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 lift. One more. Really good work, guys. Nice. Okay, and then lying onto your back. You're getting really sweaty now. It's about 1,000,000 degrees in here. And we're going to take the band again around your feet. This one is maybe a little heavy for this, but you can always use a rubber mini band as well. From here, I'm going to keep my knees over my hips at 90-degree angle with my feet flexed. From here, I'm loading my left hip flexors by pushing my right leg out and away. So what I'm getting is an isometric hip flexor activation. And I'm getting a lot of core work going on here as well, because I'm holding my spine into a nice neutral position. Training that postural alignment from the hips to the pelvis into the lower back. One more. Good, and release. So quite a lot of anterior chain strengthening there. I'm getting my quads, my hip flexors, and my abdominals all working for me. And the other side. Legs up. Don't let that one limb move. Push the other one out. You have to push your feet out against the band a little bit so it doesn't fall off. Good. All right, guys, and then we've just got to finish off that. We're going to do one more round. Pretty brutal, I know. So 10 reps of single leg hamstrings bridge. Alternatively, you've got the double leg bridge. The single leg's a bit difficult at this point. If you do double legs, you do 10. You take a break, 15 seconds, and then you do 10 on the other side. Okay, a little bit of a bend in the knee. Heel digs down. Hands by your hips. Bend your knee up and lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more, 10. Nice work, guys. Oh, really feel that through the hamstrings. And the other side, so strong hamstrings, important, also mobile hamstrings. Right, then the left knee up, lift. Great work, guys, really good. Such a good strength and conditioning drill for running. Then we had those abductors, those inner thighs, foot on top of the blocks, up into that side plank position, lifting and lowering that bottom knee. Again, either push the top leg down, a little bit easier, you're going to push both arms into the floor, but if you can, put that hand on the top hip, because then we can ensure we're getting extension. So we've got a neutral position, lift. Keep your head back in line. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you're really getting those obliques, so this is a bit of core work as well. And 10. And then across to the other side. Leg on top, bridge up. Make sure you're nice and stable. Hips don't sit back. Bring them in line, lift. 2, 3, 4, do what you can. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. All right, guys, and then finally, last exercise, back into those hip flexors, quads, abs, single leg kick, modified dead bug really. From here, holding, make sure you've got a neutral position. If you were to arch your back up off the floor and then push your back down, push your back into your fingertips, okay? So we're still allowing for that little bit of what's called a lumbar curve. So we're not squished into the floor, but we press into the fingers. So you can try it this way and you probably find that your abs will fire up a little bit more. So press the back into the fingers, hold, and then push away. Keep your foot dorsiflexed as well. So this helps train the muscles in the shins too. Tibialis anterior, particularly. Other side. I might have picked up the slightly heavier band this time. I would recommend starting off with something light and gradually building your way up. As you can see, I can't get my leg down to the floor. Just either the stretch in the band won't allow, or I'm not strong enough. One more. So I definitely feel that more that time in my core muscles by having my fingers there. It just gives you a little bit of a reference as to where to hold your spine in place. Okay. Excellent work, guys. Thanks a lot for joining. You can find some other Pilates for recreational endurance runners workshops on Body Club's site or on the YouTube channel, and we've got ones on core and mobility, barefoot conditioning, so you can go and check those out as well. Thanks a lot for joining today. Enjoy your practice. I'll catch you next time.